Hello and welcome. This is this evening, and I'm Amir Lahijy, live from Los Angeles, part of Togetherness Media. And in this part, we are going to talk about. Let's see. Let me tell you something. We already talked about relationship, uh, communication skills, and about different side of communication. And today we are going to talk to Dr. Foojan Zeine. She is a clinical psychologist and marriage family therapist, licensed marriage family therapist from Los Angeles. And I hope she is here live. Hello and welcome.
Hello. Hi, Amir.
How are you, Dr. Foojan?
I'm doing great. Hello
Okay.
to everyone who's watching us.
Yes, let me. Okay. Uh, so, how was your day?
It's been pretty hectic. A lot of work, a lot of production, a lot of clients, and I'm here with you. So I'm excited about our dialogue. What are we talking about today?
So, I'm very concerned to know, how do you communicate with the partner that's always challenging you?
It's challenging.
Yeah,
Definitely challenging. Yeah.
it's challenging.
Yeah, there are people who create a power struggle
Hmm.
constantly. And how can we not find ourselves within their game of power struggle? It's challenging because there's a part of us that, if somebody's fighting or if somebody's putting like a challenge in front of us, usually we want to fall into this to the game. But I think that important for us to know what is our intentionality in the relationship. Is it that I'm committed to fighting? Am I committed to challenges? Am I committed to peace and quiet and resolution? And if I'm really committed to creating a loving and understanding and, fun, I'm not saying that it always has to be calm, but fun relationship, then when somebody is challenging me, I stop challenging them. So if I don't like to be challenged or challenged, I would
Hmm.
look at, it seems like you want something from me, and you could say it, like, I'm feeling challenged by you. Is there a reason that you were trying to challenge me with something? So you kind of like dismantle that concept. Or you could just say to them, I really want to respond to you. I want to give you the answer to what you want. Are you willing to listen to me and hear me? And even if you don't agree with me, at least hear me and let me know that you've heard me so that we can go to the next level together. You can ask them what is their intention by their challenging you. Maybe there's something that's very important for them, and they want to make sure that I know that that's important for them. So then I could listen and make sure that I tell them what you're telling me is important, and who you are is important for me. Even if I don't agree with what you say, or even if I'm not going to give you or negotiate with you on that, but you're still important to me. So finding out the reason for the challenge. Is it that they're just used to it, and they're just doing something out of habit? Or is it truly that, they want to be right about it? They want to fight? What is it that they're challenging me for? And then I can respond accordingly to that.
Hmm. Hmm. Nice. So, you review all the uh, communication skills already, and it's very beautifully you said. But what's the reason behind people wanted to be all the time be right and right and right? What's the reason behind that?
When we always want to be right, there might be a place that inside of us we're not that secure. If
Mm-hmm.
people who are fully secure, they don't need to be right. They know they're not always right. Because I think that when we go into this illusion that we are, it's truly an illusion. You're never right all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
then you don't feel closed down yourself. You're not being limited. You're not growing. You're not allowing yourself to learn from other people and kind of expand yourself, expand your knowledge, and expand your experience. So most people who are consistently adamant about being right, they need a structure so that they feel safe and secure. Because maybe with unknowns, they feel anxious. they don't do well with uncertainties. So they create these types of belief systems, instructions, and there must be this and must be that, and you should not do this and you should do this. And then they create these structures around themselves in order to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they, take a rope and follow the rope that way, then there's a feeling of certainty. They can say, these people are bad, these people are good, these behaviors are good, these behaviors are bad, and they're going to fight till death until they prove that to you. That's the reason where usually people want to do that. Another reason is a lot of people like to be dominant within a relationship. They feel safer in the dominant position versus a follower position or a passive position.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to make sure that they're holding that space of power and dominance, they want to tell you I'm right, and you've got to know where your place is and where my place is, which is on top of the pedestal, and then I will deal with you from that place. And obviously, I have the last veto of any argument, any negotiation that we do, and that might be a part of it. But even in relationships, if somebody is really insisting in being dominant, either it's a cultural thing, which they come from a culture that apparently, for example, male, for example, were dominant, and therefore they're just playing their role. And if they don't know what other role to play because the culture tells them that they have to, or they have a little bit of more insecurity inside, which they need to prove to you that I'm right, and they can't just be open that sometimes the other person needs to be right, and sometimes they will be right. It's almost like a game, like if you went and played, I don't know, volleyball or soccer or tennis match, and you were always the one who was winning, even the game isn't any fun anymore. Like the whole part of the, playing a game is sometimes you get to lose and really experience. And people just wouldn't want to play with you if they thought you insisted on winning every time, or you would be a sore loser. It's not that we don't go into a game with with wanting to win. Obviously, we go to any game because we want to participate, we want to have fun while we're doing it, and get to win at that time. But it's not an insisting that if I don't win, I'm not going to play. I'm just not going to play with you if I don't win. That's how you can look at it. It's the same thing as in the game of communication in a relationship. If I'm always insisting to win, it ain't going to work.
Interesting. So, but how do we control and manage, the anger in a relationship? It's very hard. Is it any way you can teach us how we can manage and control it?
Well, anger is an emotion that every human being has. Anger has a message. So the point is, what is it that I'm getting angry at? What is the message of my anger? Is it that someone is crossing boundaries that I don't like? Is it my expectation is not coming through? Is it that I've not fulfilled somebody else's expectation? Is it that somebody else is angry at me and I think I should be angry at them? Is it that I wanted my way and they're not doing it my way? So again, my expectation is not being fulfilled. What is it that I'm angry at? And that would tell me in how to deal with my anger, because whatever the message is, I have to handle that. So if it's my expectation, I need to look at realistically, is my expectation is clear or not? And if I've stated my expectation and the person who I'm in a relationship with has not listened or is ignoring my expectation, maybe I need to redo my expectation. Maybe I need to renegotiate my expectation. Maybe I need to be heard by them. And maybe I could say, I'm angry because I'm not being heard by you. And I would like to be heard by you. Now, if I know what the message is, and if I communicate it clearly, non-aggressively, assertively, I'm very clear with what I want, I let you know what I want, and I can get your negotiate and get your agreement with something. And after I've done all of that, but you still don't hear me, and this continues a couple of times, then at one point I need to look at it realistically. Maybe this person is just not capable of giving what I'm needing, or they're not, wanting to have that negotiation. Maybe they're just saying yeah, but their behavior tells me that they're not up to this. Then I can make another decision. Maybe I can leave the relationship. relationship. Maybe I can renegotiate the relationship. Maybe I can renegotiate my expectations. Uh, but in order just to live in an angry place and feed my own anger, the first person that is going to really harm is myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think knowing that for example, if I tell myself I'm committed not to be angry, that means anger shows up, I look at it, I release it, I take the message, I do something about the message, but don't carry the anger with it, because carrying the anger, it only hurts me, my body, my psyche, and my relationships.
Right.
That's where I need to look at my own anger versus holding that emotion and as if it's the only ammunition I have in order to protect myself. Not really. That's just an emotion that tells you you need to protect yourself. You don't need to carry the emotion. Just protect yourself.
So, you already mentioned about passive and aggressive, personality, and you mentioned to be assertive in relationship. It's good for have a healthy relationship. So but to be assertive all the time, is it any key for that?
The key is, to clear with what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Assertion means that I'm clear with what I want and I communicated with an articulation. I articulated well what I want, and then I'm willing to negotiate for it, because I'm not going to say, I want it, I'll articulate it, and then I'll expect my partner just to listen, just
Mm-hmm.
because I said so. Well, that's an unrealistic expectation. So first, what is it that I want? And what I want, is it more from a selfish place, or does it take both of us into account? So it's something that is possible. It's something that it can be a win-win for both of us. It can be negotiated, and then I can articulate what it is that I want from the partner that I have, and I'm willing to negotiate. That's being assertive,
Mm-hmm.
and that can be done all the time. It's much better than just being passive. Most people don't like it when their loved one is, oh, it's okay, whatever, whatever. I hear it a lot from people, Amir, when they say, I'm sick and tired of just running the show because I keep telling my wife or my husband, where do you want to go? I don't know. Wherever you want. What do you want to do? I don't know. Where do you want to go on a vacation? I don't know. Whatever you want to do. That becomes boring if you're that passive that is consistently allowing one of the people to have the burden or the responsibility of carrying the whole relationship, because you're not going to like all of it. You're just going to fake it that you're continuing to go forward with it, and then that is going to blow up at some point. So knowing what you want and declaring it, clarifying it, saying it, it makes life much easier for both people to know what they're dealing with. And when both of them are clear, no games,
Mm-hmm.
no passive aggressive games, and they're
Mm-hmm.
they're both clear what they want, the two information are right on the table. So both
Beautiful.
people can see exactly what each one of them can offer the other person. And in that sense, then you can negotiate clearly about what works for both of us. Maybe this time I'll give you a gift, and next time you'll give it to me, and this time I'll do it your way, and next time you'll do it my way. Maybe we'll both let go of our ways and find a third way that works for both of us. Maybe we'll find a way that it can kind of combines the two, that both things that we want. And I think that art of knowing articulation, negotiation
Amazing.
is the best thing that the
Yes.
relationships can do.
Yes, amazing. Always your answer is amazing. I really like your answers. Beautiful, amazing. So, you already mentioned, but I like to ask again in a different way. What's the circle of anger in relationship? And where does come from?
Where does anger come from?
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, it's a human emotion which is always there. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a difference, maybe there's a distinction between anger, which is my emotion, and then how I express my anger. Because everybody has anger, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
a child is born, and then you can see their anger when they don't get something. They don't get, they're hungry, and their milk doesn't show up at the same time. They'll scream and telling their mother, hey, where's my milk? Take care of me? What's up? Like, give it to me. And it's, age 2, like you really see the terrible truth of no, you're not going to do that, and you see the almost level of anger. So anger is beautiful because I think that it gives us power. It's a powerful emotion that shows us you need to protect yourself. Run, fight, or do whatever you need to do to protect yourself. So it's not that we don't want to listen to the anger. The point is only listening to it as the message. But you don't carry the messenger with you everywhere. You just hear the message and then find out how to protect yourself, how to be powerful, how to take that, whatever is going on in your life that, is not happening, and take a stand for yourself. So that's how you do it. Now, how you come across is important. If you just let your raw anger loose, well, it's acceptable when you're about 2 years old. Your parents don't like it, but you'll still be too cute not to just take care of you. But as you grow older, anger is no longer cute. People just don't want to handle it. They don't want to bother with it. So if you're not toning in your anger and figuring out how to manage that emotion, and if you're just blasting it out, you're ruining relationships. So it's the management of how it shows up inside of you and finding out what it is you need to do about it. One, identify the emotion, find out what it is that is covering. It might be that you're anxious, and you're anxious, you're afraid, you're vulnerable, you're scared, whatever it is that's happening, you're ashamed. That a lot of these emotions, because they feel a little bit more powerless, sometimes we cover it by anger. That's our protection. Like, I don't want you to know what's going on behind me, so I'm going to show this anger so you don't get to know the other side. So that's another way that anger protects us. But knowing that that's a protective emotion, that means I know at this point I need to take care of myself. When anger shows up, it's telling you, you need to take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself does not mean blasting at other human beings. That's not necessarily protecting yourself. That's just creating more drama in your life and creating more abuse for yourself and others. But to take that anger and take an action on it to protect yourself, it's important. Now, what type of action you take, the action can be certain. The action can be something that you need, and again, as we talked about, you get articulated about it, you're willing to negotiate in order to take care of yourself, versus throwing out, raw anger out there. A lot of people in the relationship, they fall into this game of fighting with each other as if they're fighting with each other, they are taking care of themselves or that they're protecting themselves. But where anger resides, love doesn't reside.
Right.
So you can be angry at someone because you no longer want to have them in a relationship with you and destroy the relationship and be done with it. But if you actually are intending to have someone in the relationship with you, anger, living day to day within that anger, it's going to destroy the relationship because you don't want, an all-day anger. Who wants to go to a house with, their mate is angry?
Right.
Nobody.
Right. Exactly.
You keep going to the world and you have to handle everybody else out there in your career and things that you gotta do. And usually we want to go to our nest. And our nest means safety, comfort, joy, happiness, pleasure. That's what the nest is supposed to be. So if I open the door to my house and, somebody's sitting there growling at me, that's not fun. I wouldn't want to be there. So that's the whole piece, is not to take our nest, the beautiful relationship that we have, and turn it into a fighting ground.
Exactly. Yeah. You already answered my next question too, because honestly, we are going to relationship to have a good relationship, to enjoy our time, but unfortunately, because most of people, they didn't work on themselves. That's why they're going to the relationship with all dramas and all baggages, and then they put everything in the other side, in relationship. They don't want to see themselves. And you said very profound and beautifully. Thank you so much. So in a 1 minute, if you want to review everything and what you want to say in 1 minute.
Well, you said a very interesting concept, which is if I don't look at what I need in a relationship and what I need is doable. I know a lot of people go into a relationship expecting that the best side of their mother and father and how they treated them, now their partner has to treat them that way. Well, you didn't marry your mother and father. You didn't go into a relationship to the best of your mother and father. You are, in a relationship with another human being, and you also need to know what they're about, and be interested in what they're about, and hopefully, for them to be interested in who you are, and create your own rules and regulations in between this relationship so it works. But to have an expectation of a relationship to duplicate what your mom or dad gave you at the best of them, and not to do anything that your mom and dad did that you didn't like, it's a fantasy that we take as a child and we go into a relationship and we automatically have these expectations, but it's not accurate. It's not going to happen. And you're going to be very, very upset when your illusion gets completely ripped away from you, where it's just not going to happen, because that person is not your dad, and that person is not your mom, and they're not supposed to be. The other part is relationships are equal relationships. So if it goes one-sided, lopsided, that one appears to be going up and kind of demeaning the other person, or goes the other way, this type of a relationship won't work. So a lot of what we do in a balancing relationship is to bring this constantly balancing it back into an equal relationship. And what does an equal relationship means is two people who are already in their own bubble. They are an individual with all their needs, expectations, emotions, and type of emotional, kind of like love languages that they have. And they're all in this bubble. And then we have the third bubble, which is something that each one of them is putting into the relationship. So imagine the relationship itself being an individual bubble in the middle. So whatever you put in that relationship is all you get to take. If all you're putting in the relationship is anger, guess what you're going to take? That's all that is there.
Right.
So whatever you're putting in it, both of you, two people put in that relationship in the middle, is all that you can actually take back. So choose intentionally in what you're putting in there. Because you might have the anger in the bubble that you are, but you might choose not to put the anger in the relationship. You might clear yourself up and then choose to put conversation in there, understanding in there, compassion in there, love in there.
Exactly.
And that's what you can take back in order to even heal your own anger that is showing up. So if you look at relationship in that way, you get to choose what it is you want to put in it. And again, if you have a partner who can do the same and they are in the same emotional maturity that you are and the level that you are, great. You guys can do it. If you're already with someone who's not as mature as you, well, either they have to grow up or out. And if you're not as mature as your partner, grow up and maybe or out, basically.
Yes.
So what it takes, two people on an equal level, they have to have similar maturity level when it comes to emotional concepts.
Beautiful, beautiful. So one of our audience asked, I always heard in relationship we should complete each other. Is it true or not? Or it's better to be same as each other?
I don't think we're ever same. That's not a realistic concept.
Yeah, maybe maybe she means 80%, 90%, not 100%.
We have similarities. That's
Should be similarity.
Well, there are. The reason we get attracted to other people is because definitely we have similarities. And we also get attracted to people who have differences where we admire.
Yeah.
Because we want to grow. So obviously we come in through similarities and we join in our similarities, and the differences that we have is the part we grow. So when we talk about completing each other, it means that I can grow by being with you.
Yes.
Like if I am someone who's great at designing things and working with my hands, But if my partner is someone who's great at math and all the accounting and financial stuff, well, awesome. I mean, when we got together, I can trust, I can learn and trust that my mate can handle all of the other aspects of financial, so I can feel safe, and my mate can, feel trusting and expand themselves into the concept of, okay, we're going to create a beautiful house together because that's my domain. So this way, we're complementing each other and we're growing into the other areas that the other person has, which we don't have. That's how we do that. So it's a combination of similarities and the combination of allowing ourselves to grow into what the other person is offering. And you can look at every challenge of their differences in a way of making you grow, even if it's something you never liked. It's an opportunity for you to grow. It doesn't mean to do exactly that which you don't like because your parent partner is doing, but it makes you grow into looking at, how do I deal with this? And, everybody's not going to be your clone. They're not going to be exactly like you.
Right.
And, it's just accepting who the other person is, learning about them, enjoying them. And if they have characters that are unacceptable to you, and you found out later on after you dated and you married them that, oh my God, there are areas that I never knew, and it showed up after we lived together that unacceptable, then you need to make some choices. Either of those need to be acceptable, or you need to release yourself of a relationship that at this point things are unacceptable to you. And people grow. If you got married in the age of 20 or you were in a relationship at the age of 20, you completely might be another human being at age 25 or 30. And you might, that relationship, you might have not grown as fast as you wanted. So everybody does everything in order to create and sustain a relationship and make it healthy. The point is, learn the skill to create a healthy relationship no matter who you are with. But ultimately, the characters have to be matching a little bit, where it gives you that type of enjoyment to be, to spend time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. To have a healthy relationship, absolutely. You're right. Thank you so much, Dr. Zeine, and I really appreciate for your program in the Evolving Mind. Very informative and educational. It's very nice. I'm inviting all all of our audience, please pay attention to that program. Please watch it. If you miss it, go to our archive, and also we post it on Instagram because it's very informative and very good. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend, and see you next time.
Thank you, Amir, and thank you everyone for being with us. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. It was amazing. So all of our audience, you can go to our website or app, and in the chat room you can send your messages. If you have any questions, you can ask your question. Just mention this question is for which one of our experts. And if you have a private question, you can ask. You want to contact with Dr. Zeine, and we are going to give you a email address. However, you can go to her website, foojan.com, www.foojan.com, F-O-J-A-N, Foojan, .com. So stay tuned, and if you have a question, send a message. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for next program.
At Hello Hollywood, we bring you the best in entertainment, fashion, movies, hit music, gossip, and live from the red carpet reporting. Hello Hollywood is your new choice.
Hollywood gossip, upcoming movies, top 10 music, hot news from Hollywood. We have a special report from special events, red carpets, fashion, parties from the heart of Hollywood in Hello Hollywood.
To sponsor this show or for advertising inquiries, call 310-738-7309.
Hello,
Hello Hollywood Productions. 310-738-7309.
If you'd like to contact to Dr. Foojan Zeine, please call. Contact with her website is the best way. Foojan.com. FOOJAN.com. Thank you and stay tuned.
A healthy mind requires balance, and balancing the wheel is your guide to finding more happiness, healthier lifestyle, and a successful practice in whatever you do. I'm Dr. Daniel Sadiq, author of Balancing the Wheel, and you can find it on Amazon under balancingthewheel.com/book or in the Audibles in audiobooks.com.